How often do you consider your marketing strategy? The fact is, it's often easy to just do the work without asking why you're doing it. While I think you need to always be asking this question, it really starts with a well thought out marketing plan. In this video, I will help you get started by providing some of the key sections in a marketing plan. But before I get started, please be sure to like this video and follow the channel. This helps more viewers like you find my content. So, why is this a yearly plan? Well, the marketing plan should align with your business and sales plans, and those are typically yearly. The plan essentially describes how revenue and growth will happen. Now, marketing is not cheap. It costs money to generate leads, build a brand, and retain customers. The business needs justifications for these expenses, and the marketing plan must define the return on this investment. Having said this, keep in mind that the plan is a fluid document and your activities and even direction can change depending upon changing market conditions. Now, I'm going to provide some pointers and basic components of a marketing plan. However, your plan will be different depending on your industry, business stage, products, and how you go to market. In preparation for this plan, you need to understand the current macro environment. You should have a grasp of industry trends and growth rates. In the transportation industry, we have a cyclical business, and it is important to understand what economic indicators are saying about the future. A SWOT analysis is also a great starting point. I'm not going to get into the SWOT analysis here, but just know that you are defining internal strengths and weaknesses and external opportunities and threats. You need to be able to answer and address each of the items listed in the SWOT within your plan, especially how you can leverage those strengths and opportunities. You need to understand the competition and market segmentation. When we think about the overall market, you should know the metrics. What markets are you pursuing? How do your solutions meet those market needs? How large are the markets, and what is your share within each? You should know about all of the competitive pressures and how each competitor is going to market and how they differentiate from you. Oh, and don't forget about customers. Have you conducted customer surveys and other types of research? This information can provide insight into customer satisfaction, preferences, and why customers buy from you. When we consider your marketing tactics, you need to understand what marketing approaches are working and which are not. Typically, I document and take a look at metrics by lead source as well as attribution. This includes all of the individual interactions that happen after first contact leading up to a sale. So you should understand how these other activities perform and do not tie directly to a lead generation goal. And then benchmark these, including your content marketing, sales support, and ABM efforts. So, just to summarize, your situation analysis should contain a market analysis, market segmentation, competitive analysis, and marketing program review. At the end of the day, summaries of this data and conclusions should be included in this section. If this is your first marketing plan, you will need to spend more time on this section, but you may still have to make assumptions based on what you know. As the organization matures, you gather more data, and in the end, you'll be able to make more informed decisions. The next section of the plan focuses on positioning. It should include your positioning statement, brand pillars, and definitions of your target market and ideal customer profile. If you have buyer personas, you can include that here as well. So let's break some of these things down. Typically, I like to start with the customer. Target markets and ideal customer profiles, or ICPs, are very similar and often used interchangeably. More often, a target market is used to describe a target consumer or a group of consumers that would benefit from your product. This is common in B2C marketing and can include geographic, sociographic, demographic, psychographic, and behavioral qualities. For example, you could say a Latino females ages 18 to 24, an income between 70K and 100K, working in a finance position with an interest in baseball. Now, of course, that's kind of silly, but you get the idea. An ICP is a description of the type of company that would receive the most value from your solution. This may include company size, revenue, industry, location, and so on. It's similar to a target market in the approach, but now we are describing organization characteristics. When defining an ICP, we have to recognize that we don't sell to companies, we sell to people. Buyer personas describe the different buyer types involved in a B2B sale. These are written like fictional person descriptions, like Fred the finance manager. The description will describe demographics like role, age, and function. You will want to describe this person's pain points and the best way to communicate with them. Okay, now that we've defined the customer, you need to define why your product is best aligned with the consumer and different from competitors. A good start here is your positioning statement. I did a separate video on that, but essentially, this statement describes your offering, your customer, the benefit, and how your offering is different from other solutions. If you have a positioning statement, now's a good time to review it. If not, it's a great time to create one. Now, branding is the execution of your positioning. So when we think about branding and messaging, there are a number of different approaches to this. For me, I don't think there is really room for more than one message. If you're Volvo, you're safe. And if you're a Kia, you're a value. But yes, you still have to have quality product and good customer support, and your brand should communicate your differentiation in a creative way. At the end of the day, your brand is the promise you make to your customers, and it's the experience customers receive from you that fulfills this promise. So focus on your primary position and then create supporting messages. You don't need to present details of your brand standards, your brand story, or personality in your marketing plan, but you should develop these as well. Now, in the next section, we start looking to the future. But before we get to that, please don't forget to like this video and follow the channel. Now, in this next section, we want to define your goals and objectives. And what is the difference between goals and objectives? Essentially, goals are broad statements that define an end state. Objectives are measurable actions that must be achieved to meet the goals. Before we embark here, you must consider your overall business goals. The marketing plan goals must help support and achieve overall business goals. Now, some people state that goals do not need to be measurable because the objectives are measurable. One article gave a goal, for example, of to grow revenues. If you create a goal to grow revenues, how do you know if this is achieved in any meaningful way? I would rather state a growth goal like attain 50,000 subscribers or generate 100 million in revenue. Now, for the marketing plan, if no time period is listed, I assume it's within the plan year. Now, in addition to growth goals, you can have customer satisfaction goals, retention goals, or goals specific to major company initiatives or strategic changes. I would just keep the number of goals to a manageable number. I'd say less than 5. Personally, I try to shoot for 3. Now, compared to goals, objectives are typically very specific. Objectives should meet the SMART goal requirements. So therefore they are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. All objectives should relate and help achieve a primary goal. You can think of them as the how, where the goal is the what. So say your goal is 100 million in revenue. Consider we will want to be profitable. An objective could be to generate 20,000 marketing qualified leads at under $38 cost per lead within a 1-year time period. Or perhaps we could increase average ARR to $420 through new product introductions in 2022. So as another example, say we want to improve our Net Promoter Score to 60. Is that a goal or an objective? The answer is it could be either, depending upon how your company uses this metric. If this is a key performance indicator, then perhaps it's a goal, and you can list a few initiatives as objectives to help achieve it. But if your goal is to decrease churn rate by 15%, then Net Promoter could be an objective to help achieve lower customer churn. So now that we have talked goals and objectives, let's talk about tactics. Tactics are all of the actions you will take to achieve the objectives. I personally like to create a goal for each marketing function. For example, if the goal of the activity is lead generation, then I'll have a lead gen goal. And all of the lead gen goals will roll up to the overall business growth goal. In the plan, I will have sections for digital advertising, social media, public relations, organic web traffic, content marketing, basically anything that will roll up to a budget line item. Then for each of these, I write a short commentary regarding prior year performance and how we intend to improve in the plan year. If you have employees or agencies working in these areas, I encourage you to have them draft up a plan for their respective functions. Then you will have a starting point for discussion, and it gets them involved in the process. I try to keep these sections to a couple paragraphs, and any further detail I then place in the appendix. After the tactics section, you may have a project implementation calendar or timeline in your budget. I create my budget in Excel and then provide higher level groupings in the plan. Create the budget from the bottom up and then group the activities as revenue generating, overhead, retention, etc. Now that you have all of these pieces, create a short executive summary at the beginning for those that are not going to be reading the entire plan. Also, I recommend placing details including research summaries, market trend charts, and tactical plan details in the appendix. I think I stated this at the beginning, but throughout this process, keep lines of communication open with sales. You need to make sure that your plan lines up and supports sales goals. All right, so if you have any questions or comments, please leave them here under the video if you're viewing on YouTube. And don't forget to like the video and follow the channel.